Public speaking consultant Pamela Hart claims she can teach anyone to feel comfortable speaking in public. She is the founder of Release Your Voice. She has a master's degree from Harvard and a bachelor's in psychology and nonverbal behavior. She is highly trained in the art of language, and it is my pleasure to welcome Pamela Hart back to Studio 4 to tell us more.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be back.
What sign are you?
I'm a Pisces, and I was so excited to know that I was going to finally make money.
Yeah, finally, after all these years,
exactly.
All those degrees, and all this experience. But you were in theater. Didn't you do a little Shakespeare?
I was in theater.
Something like that?
Absolutely. I was classically trained, and Shakespeare was my first love, actually. And I love Jacobean theater. All of those playwrights are wonderful. Webster. And I got to do a lot when I was in New York, and some when I was in England, actually.
When did you know you wanted to help other people speak in public, articulate their thoughts?
Well, I think it occurred when I first came to Vancouver. And I was so happy to be here, but I wasn't sure that I wanted to continue on the stage. And I thought, well, what else do I want to do? And a friend of mine said to me, you should teach people how to speak. And I thought, that's wonderful. What a good idea.
Right.
Exactly.
And that'll pay the bills.
And that'll pay the bills at the same time. And it's something that I love. There's something wonderful about seeing people come to life when they've been afraid before, they've been nervous before, or they're not able to organize their thoughts. And suddenly you see that little light in their eyes, and they get it. And it's wonderful.
So to get it, to release your voice, where do you start?
Where you start is you start by saying, why am I speaking to people? So frequently when people start to talk to an audience, they're not really clear why they're there. And if you don't know why you're there, then the audience doesn't know why you're there either. And why should they listen to you?
Okay, I was at a Sarah Palin dinner, and Governor Palin did not read the audience very well. I mean, she spoke well, but she talked to us about Bristol on Dancing with the Stars, and you know, she did not gear it to a Canadian audience, I felt.
Exactly. And that's
only my feeling. But
no, I think you're absolutely right. And I have to tell you, that's one of the first things that people do that they need to correct, which is, why are these particular people listening to you? Not what do I have to say and how do I just want them to take this, but why do they come here? Right. And why do they want to listen to me? You have to ask yourself that question.
So if it's a room of drunken loggers or it's a room of sophisticated business people, figure it out. Know your audience.
That's exactly right. That's primary.
So when Barack Obama, President Obama, speaks, he always sounds great to me. Like whatever he says, even if I don't agree with what he's saying, I think, oh, so well said. Yeah. Do you agree?
He is a very, very fine speaker. And one of the tools that he uses, he really uses the power of language. And most people, when they're starting to speak, we have a tendency to throw language away. But he really embraces words. He really uses words. He uses their structure and their meaning to reach people. And that's one of his strong points. But Michelle, I say Michelle's better than Barack.
Really?
I do.
And how so?
Well, she has this way of connecting with people on a very personal level. Barack sort of mesmerizes you with the language and the power of the language, but she makes you feel as though she's speaking just to you.
Bill Clinton.
Absolutely. Bill Clinton was another one. Yep, absolutely.
You think he is only paying attention to you when you meet him. I've met him once, and I thought, he's pretty fascinated by me. And then I realized that everybody has that same thought.
That's exactly right. I had a friend who met him.
Connection.
Absolutely. I had a friend who met him who said the same thing. He said he was in a room with him with 50 other people, and he felt as though he was the only person there, and that Bill was speaking exactly to him.
So when you're chairing a meeting, and because you teach people to do that too, right? Not just speak to thousands. How can you be effective so that you grab them and they actually want to do what you'd like them to do? Yes, you're efficient, but to inspire, you have to do something.
You do. And the key is to find out, as people say, what's their hot button? Why? What do they need? And when you start to look at what people's needs are, then you're able to fulfill those needs, or at least give them a vision of those needs being fulfilled, or how potentially what you have to say is going to help their lives.
Okay.
Because basically, innately as human beings, we're kind of selfish. You know, we have an altruistic side, but we like to see what's in it for us.
Sure, and some public speakers, I think, are just too rah-rah. They're too patterned. They're giving you the shtick and they want you to take it away, but they're not inspiring you. There's a difference.
There is. And they're actually not talking to you, they're just talking at you. They're just delivering information to you. And, you know, how do you feel about that? You don't feel anything. And words should actually evoke a feeling in you. They should evoke a sense in you and a desire.
I've watched Dr. Wayne Dyer perform many
wonderful.
times, and he's so lovely because it just comes out of him. He doesn't have a note, and he can go on, and everything he says seems to be slightly profound.
It does, it does. And he really speaks to the person inside of all of us that need to aspire to certain things, our dreams, our goals, unfulfilled goals. All of those things, he hits right on the head.
Sure, you imagine it, you vision it, I can do it. He inspires you without the rah-rah.
Without the rah-rah. He inspires you also with sincerity. He really believes it in his heart, and he's not up there acting. That's truly how he feels about the world and life.
And he treats everybody in the audience the same. He comes down, wanders around the audience. He's wandering around the lobby. You know, a lot of the stars are backstage, not connecting with anyone. So why are so many people so uncomfortable to speak at a shower, at a wedding, in front of 2,000 people, to their bosses?
Right. Well, there are a couple of different reasons. One, physiologically, we get excited when we have to speak. Our body's sort of preparing us to do battle or to do what we have to do. The other factor is that people are sometimes not sure if the audience wants to hear what they have to say. And that makes them even more nervous. And sometimes they're not sure about what they want to say. No intent.
Okay, so over-prepare, over-prepare, I know. And then it's all there and you feel safe.
That's right.
You may not use any of it, but you've got it somewhere.
You have it somewhere, and suddenly when you are in the position that you need to use it, your brain clicks into action and you have access to it. If you don't prepare, when you're in that situation, your brain says, oh, we never prepared for this.
Right.
How are
So
we
you're a
gonna do
new
it?
politician, you're in a scrum, and you've never been in a scrum before, and reporters are asking you the tough questions.
That's right.
You have to know how to center, I'm sure, and find the answer.
You have to center, find the answer, and also, as you said, be prepared. Write down a series of questions that you think your audience might ask you.
Right.
Or write down what you think is important to them. And so that way you address those issues. and you
Being
speak
an
to
old
them.
radio girl, I know the best ad-libs are written.
That's right, and
Truly
people
are.
always say that.
I
You know,
know.
oh, I just wrote that off.
Oh, yes, I just came up with that. No, 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 no. You thought about it when you went on air. It burped out.
That's right, and that's when it seems so natural and so real, because it's there, but you can use it easily and spontaneously.